we'll have all the answers. We'll have a lot more answers tomorrow after medical exam. Looks at it, like she said. What you're seeing here is common. This is us coming out to a scene. Yeah, his age, no real medical history that we know of. For him to have passed away, we come out and we do an investigation. Yeah. We come out and do an investigation. Medical examiner's office will be sending people out. This is what we do. If he was 75 years old and had a history of heart condition, we wouldn't be here.
I just don't know what I don't know what it is.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to find out. We're just here to get the answers. The answers that you want, the answers that his family's going to want.
I just really want to see my son. Like, I really need to see my son. Well, I mean, I know I can't go anywhere, but... No. Right. So, do I just, like, sit out here and wait for you guys?
If you would, yes, please.
Is anybody else having to show up, or everybody's here that needs to be here?
My team's here that needs to be here. The medical examiners will show up when we call them, but we're not ready for them yet. So they're going to take him, they're going to take some photos, take him, but that's towards the end of it. And they'll be called well in advance when we're ready for them, but we're not ready for them at this point, because we won't be calling them quite yet. Okay? So like I said, I got to go do some paperwork. They're going to chat with some people, and then we're going to come back and talk to you if you're okay with that.
Yes, please.
So just give us a little bit more time. Like I said, I need to go and do that, and he's going to go do it.
Okay, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, so it's a baseline now, this protective piece that she's doing. It comes up, it goes down, it's tucked right in. It's now almost, static for her that she's in here and here, which is, clearly she's under a lot of stress right now. But there are two big deviations from that kind of baseline of stress. One is the shoulders go up and her hands go out for, I don't know, which is this kind of thing of, what are you going to do? I don't know anything. I think there's a deviation from baseline on that because that is her strategy. That's her big tactic here is I'm going to do just I don't know stuff. We'll see because I think we got another episode that will come up next week on the interview. So we'll see whether that strategy plays out in the interrogation, the interview. But I think that's her strategy right now. Play, I don't know, what are you going to do about it? And then there's another deviation from baseline, which maybe it's similar to the kind of hamster that you were talking there, Greg. So maybe this is idiosyncratic, but it's a little bit lower and it's kind of scurrying around stuff that goes on, a little bit of piano playing, or maybe spiders or insects. So, and it's on, is everyone here? Now, whether this is just idiosyncratic, could be, or whether it's just like, is everybody here? Can the band start? Let's start a number. Could be that, or maybe it is the metaphor in her mind of insects or spiders scurrying around, something low to earth, something a little bit malignant around us, scurrying around, that they're gonna, search out in every corner and she'll be found out. I don't know which one it is. I quite like the metaphor idea for that of scurrying insects. But as Greg was saying before about that other gesture more up here, could be totally idiosyncratic. Anyway, two nice deviations from baseline there. Scott, what do you got on this one?
All right. I'm not going to have much to add to this thing. We're seeing pretty much the same behaviors. You're right about the change in her baseline there a little bit. She's, again, concerned with what's going to happen. Could she go see her son? All those kinds of things. But we're not seeing the correct facial expressions we should be seeing. We see some of them later on. We'll talk about that later, like Mark was talking about. But we're not seeing the horror we should be seeing for what's happened. She's seen this guy. She's after this has happened. She was part of it. All those things, and we're just not seeing what we should be seeing. We're not hearing what we should be hearing in the fashion we should be hearing it. It just sounds she's trying too hard. I don't think she knows what to do. Greg, what do you got?
Yeah, what we see is her whole body is now attached at her elbows or around her torso, creating that exoskeleton for those organs. And she almost looks like a little T-Rex. She's only got arms from here down, and she's moving those arms. That's part of the reason I think you see that scurrying, Mark, is because she's not moving her elbows. They're spot welded to her body. So she'll put her hands up here. It's almost like some really stupid comic where you see these guys doing just their hands around their face. I forget which guys did something funny with that back in the like 80s. They would turn their head upside down and use their hands and make those, what I'm talking about. You'll probably think of it. Mark, the one that I was expecting you to cover is all that joint protection. She's protecting those fingers and rolling them in. That's showing I've run out of ways to protect myself otherwise. So let me protect my fingers while I'm at it too. She's feeling a lot of fear in here, a lot of fear of what's coming. She also does a lot of self-grooming. And for me, I think what we see is an unsophisticated person who's hungover as part of it. So we see a lot of things that we might think are abnormal, but they may be normal for her world. I don't know what she does for a living, don't know anything about it. She's awfully interested in the process, and all these people are coming in. I think part of that's her brain trying to get some normal, and she's asking questions about who else is coming, about the process. Not at all about him, nothing about him yet. She does throat protecting, she does those prayerful hands, and she does that exoskeleton. Here, I think she's just at her processor end, probably. And I don't know that she really grasps what's going on with these guys talking to her. It feels like they're being helpful, and she's trying to tell them kind of what happened. She's not keenly aware of what they do for a living, I think. Chase, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't have much else here, but we also see a desperation to inject more ambiguity into what's going on, and this fearful body posture the whole time. And you'll notice that the fear increases with every desire to collect data. Every single time, that's when you'll see these little spikes. In situations like this, you'll often see guilty people more concerned with two things, and these two things are so common, you can almost use them alone as a guide when you're seeing the behavior of a post-crime witness. Number one is a desire to inject doubt, ambiguity, and uncertainty. Number two is a desire to learn about the process and information known by the police. They will almost always have those in common. Innocent people are more likely to say things in cases like this that implicate their own guilt because of sincere and deeply felt guilt. Like, I killed him. I can't believe I did it. I killed him. And they're more likely to say things like that. And still, no mention of a name. Unwilling to ask if she's a suspect. Innocent people would have no problem with that. She's desperate to know what they're thinking and is unwilling to ask. Why not just ask? Innocent people don't have a problem asking, what are you going to do next? What's going to happen next? So we're not looking at a single behavior and determining a likelihood of guilt. We're watching for these groups of behaviors that we've all been talking about here that we know to look for. When that little pile of behavior starts turning into a mountain, which it is here, it becomes a lot more obvious and apparent to us what's going on. That's all I got.
Oh, Mark, that was a good pin spin, man.
Mark took that.
I've got it all. Yeah. I'm triple threat.
Apparently, obviously.
We'll have all the answers. We'll have a lot more answers tomorrow after medical exam. Looked at it. Like she said, what you're seeing here is common. This is us coming out to the scene. Yeah, his age, no real medical history that we know of. For him to have passed away, we come out and we do an investigation. Yeah. We come out and do an investigation. Medical examiner's office will be sending people out. This is what we do. If he was 75 years old and had a history of heart condition, we wouldn't be here.
I just don't know I don't know what it is.
Exactly. And that's what we're here to find out. We're just here to get the answers. The answers that you want, the answers that his family's going to want.
I just really want to see my son. Like, I really need to see my son. Well, I mean, I know I can't go anywhere, but...
No. Right.
So, do I just, like, sit out here and wait for you guys?
If you would, yes, please.
Does anybody else having to show up, or everybody's here that needs to be here?
My team's here that needs to be here. The medical examiners will show up when we call them, but we're not ready for them yet. So they're going to take him, they're going to take some photos, take him, but that's towards the end of it. And they'll be called well in advance when we're ready for them, but we're not ready for them at this point. So we won't be calling them quite yet. Okay? So like I said, I got to go do some paperwork. They're going to chat with some people, and then we're going to come back and talk to you if you're okay with that.
Yes, please.
So just give us a little bit more time. Like I said, I need to go and do that, and he's going to go do some.
If you like this video, get the full body language breakdown and analysis on our main channel by clicking this video right here.
Really?